All right, welcome everyone to the Today podcast. Today's show is an incredible one. You're in for a real treat, so pour yourself a drink, sit back, and tune in. Today we are discussing ethics in the clothing industry. Our first guest speaker has his very own ethically sourced and made clothing brand called Valor People. He's the founding director and CEO, Caio Silver. Welcome. Why don't you tell
Thank you
us a
for
little bit
having
about
me.
yourself, Caio? Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's just, I just thought that the fashion industry needs some change. And, I was thinking to myself one day, well, why not me? Why can't I be the change? So I decided to, create this brand, Valor People, to try and change the system that we'll, discuss in the program, in today's show. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for being here. Also, today we are blessed to have the managing director of Fashion Inc., a company that employs over 1,000 people in factories in Thailand and India. Fashion Inc. supplies clothes to chain stores such as Kmart as well as others. Welcome, Mr. Edward Thraves.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Why don't you tell us a little bit about just your background and what your company does?
Well, our company is one of the biggest manufacturing clothing distributors and makers, producers in Asia, if not the world. We have over 1,000 staff, factories in India, Thailand. Yeah, we're growing, developing, giving jobs, creating profits. Everything's good.
Brilliant. So I'm going to get right into some questions. We're going right straight to it. So this is from our listener, Christian Smith. In the 21st century, how can big business justify paying 50 cents per hour to staff in third world countries? We'll start with you, Caio.
Yeah, I asked myself the same question, and that's why, like, at Valor People, we work with only Fair Wear certified manufacturers. And what is that? Fair Wear is a foundation and is an independent nonprofit organization. And what they do is that they work to improve conditions for the workers, conditions such as wage as well, in those factories, those low cost factories. So what they do is they conduct checks in 3 levels. They check the brand, and to see, what level of the current business and the management, how that business level is. They check the factory level as well. So they go 3 tiers, the business administration, the factory level, and then they go to the workers themselves and see how their condition is and try to improve them. So yeah, Christian, I understand you, and I asked myself the same question. So yes.
Yeah, that's very admirable. What about you, Edward? How would you answer that question?
Well, because we're a big company, we employ lots of staff, putting lots of jobs on the table, earning a living, paying their families. We pay them the standard rate. We give them dignity, self-respect, no handouts. Believe that this means that they want to work hard. They value their job. They're not lazy. If someone's sick, we replace them. But that's. I've got a question for Caio. You're saying that you do all those things. Well, do you not find that your staff can be a bit lazy if you treat them too well, give them too much money?
No, I don't think so. I think first of all, we're not talking about giving them too much money. We're talking about, or even giving them benefits from government or anything that could lead them to not want to work or anything. We're talking about basic needs, human needs. We're talking about safety. Recently we had, over 1,000 people dying in a manufacturing in India because they didn't have safety, measurements in place to keep them safe. So we're talking about safety and fair wages. So I don't think, the basic needs make people lazy. I think the basic needs actually enable them to work better, in a sense. You see that in Even though that's why if you go to big companies, even big tech companies, if you go to Facebook, for example, if you go in there, you see people, having restaurants, ice cream. You see people having, and they love to work there. Why? Because even more than the basic needs, they afford to, treat them well. So yeah, I guess they wouldn't make them lazy. No.
Wow, that's quite a difference there. So we have another question from our listener, Paul Harris from England. He asks, Edward, how can you provide such horrendous conditions? We are in 21C, not in the Industrial Revolution. It's not pulling any punches today.
Yeah, well, do you want to give, well, let's be real here. Paul Harris is from first world country, developed. He's had the best schools, best education, all these things, to do with, human rights. It's all relative to his culture based on his Christian upbringing. Our factories are in Thailand, India, from a Buddhist Hindu background where they believe in karma. So am I supposed to go over to these other countries and have an imperialistic view? This is how you should change things. This is how you should do things. Or should I respect their culture, respect that their morality and ethics is relative to their culture, and just, sort of work with them instead of just telling them what to do? Who am I to meddle? What do you think, Caio?
Well, as you said, he might be a Christian, and as a Christian, I believe that we gotta love people like Jesus did, and follow his commands in the Bible. But I do believe that doesn't mean that, doing that is Christian. I think that there's a morality there, which is, even though you're not Christian, they're, doing good and doing what's good for other people is not restricted to religion. So I wouldn't say because they're Hindu or that, they can't suffer, So I believe that humans thrive in community, and when they look out for each other. So yeah, I don't think that is just restricted to culture or religions. No.
Sorry, I just want to say though that in countries like Australia, America, the UK, where they have government support, government funding, government housing, it's easy to have this kind of approach, let's mollycoddle, be nice to people, give them loads of money. But the reality is, the countries where we're providing jobs and supporting families, if they don't work in my factory, then they starve, simple as that. So that's why we believe profit is the bottom line. Sure, I personally make money from it, which I go on nice holidays, but from you could say, a selfish point of view, why would I bother, if I didn't make money? I make money from this, they get jobs, I get to go on holidays, and some of these profits I put back into jobs.
Yeah, it sounds like you're protecting that bottom line a little bit too much there. So I have another question for another one of our listeners. Harry from Germany asks,